Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we're going to be talking about the question that is asked over and over and over again, and I don't get tired of answering these questions. I want you to know that. Sometimes you'll ask a question on a forum and everybody pounces on you. I won't do that. You ask your question, I'll answer it. Straighten you up there a little bit. But the age-old question is, how dependable is this darn thing? How dependable is the Spyder? Do you trust it? Do you like the company? Do you like the Spyder itself? What's going on with all that? So I'm going to start out with something that, you know, I think you'll find interesting. Now this is old information because there is no new information that I've been able to find, but Consumer Reports put out a customer satisfaction in the sense of not what goes wrong, not what does the company stand behind it. The question was, would you buy this brand again? Would you buy it again? Now, I'm not going to go into the percentiles, although I'll drop a photo right up here of the graph or the chart. But this is the order to the best of my recollection, and what surprises me is the one with the highest rating is a company that went out of business. Number 1 was Victory, 2 was Harley Davidson, 3 was, I think, Honda, 4 was BMW, and 5 was CANAM. So CANAM was right there under BMW. Now behind CANAM, I think it was Ducati, and then Yamaha, and Triumph, a few other brands, Kawasaki. You know, the other 3 of the big 4. The big 4, for those not in the know, is Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda. So 3 of the big 4 fell under the CANAM, which was very surprising to me, because there is something to be said for brand loyalty and that desire to buy it again, which means you really liked it. So, you know, as I've ridden this thing, and I've got, let's see how many miles I've got on this thing now. Let's see if we can't pull up my stats. I bet we can. We're pretty smart. I think we can do that while we ride. All right, there they are. 24,188 miles. That's how many miles I have on the Spyder. 24,188. I enjoy riding this thing. I put many miles on it. As you can tell, I've crossed the continent twice. I pull a trailer. I'm normally riding 2 up. And so far, so good. Now, I did have a faux pas on a bridge one time where the Spyder was running a little bit hot, and that was kind of an ugly scene. But when I look back, I think I may have hit my kill switch. I hate to admit that. And I have actually had people go, hey man, my Spyder won't crank. And the first thing I tell them is, check your kill switch. And they do. And they bumped their kill switch and didn't realize it. So step 1, whenever your Spyder won't crank, check your kill switch. You may have just bumped it and you won't even know it, because it won't give you a warning of any kind. When you turn the key on, it'll show, ooh, that wind. It'll show powered up, and then you'll just flip the start button and nothing will happen. I mean, literally nothing will happen. It would be nice if it would say kill switch engaged, but that's not what they do. So why is it then, and I'm just going to be, again, I'm going to be very honest with you, why is it then when I get on the Spyder, I always worry that it's going to tear up or not crank? And I do, and I really questioned why I felt that way when pondering the ideas behind this video, and I think I've come to a conclusion. You know, every time I get on my Triumph Speed Triple, I feel the same way. I do. I always wonder what's going to go wrong. Is it going to crank? Is there going to be a problem with it? I get on my Suzuki though, and I never think that. I put the key in it, I know it's going to crank. I mean, it doesn't even enter my mind the potential for failure. And I rode a Harley for 17, 18 years, and every time I put my key in it, I knew it was going to crank. If it was cold, if it was hot, I didn't worry about overheating, even though it was just air cooled. I never worried about it. I just rode it. And I think the reason that we feel that way, I know the reason I feel that way. I can't speak for you. You can leave your comment if you have these weird vibes about the spider. Your spider senses are tingling. If you're one of those people that have those weird vibes like I do, write down if you can think about why you feel that way. I'm going to tell you why I feel that way, and that's because this machine, I'm going to back up so you can get a bigger view of the machine, right? This big fancy machine that I ride, I just engaged a parking brake, right? There's a moving part that just worked. This machine has a lot of stuff on it. And whenever you have a lot of stuff, things can go wrong. And when things go wrong on something that's complex, well, you're not going to be able to pull out a screwdriver and fix it. You're just not. That is why. That's why. And the same holds true with my Triumph Speed Triple. It's a complex motorcycle in the grand scheme of my experience with motorcycles. I was always able to, pull a carburetor off. My Harley cut off one time when I was riding, and I took the breather off and cleaned the carb a little bit, fired right back up, and I was on the road. It's like you could hear it. It's like it's starving for fuel or it's starving for fuel or air, and fuel and air go in right there. So if I go right there, I can go ahead and knock that one out. I know it ain't fire because it's getting spark. So it was easy. It was simple. It was Barney Rubble, unless there was a catastrophic failure and there just wasn't a whole lot to go wrong on it. But this, we all know about the parking brake thing where it'll stick. You need two 12mm wrenches in order to fix that. If you haven't ever found that online, there are a lot of videos out there to show you how to do it. Pierre from CANAM Spider Accessories has an exceptional one where he actually disengages it and shows you how to do it. Everyone that has a Spider needs to know how to do that. And if you get on the road and you forget how to do it, you can, if you've got cell coverage, you can always, CANAM Spider parking brake, CANAM Spider Accessories, it'll come right up. But he does a very good job. So there's just one little thing that has potential to go wrong. I think the bigger failure is to be on the road, it go into some sort of nanny mode. Nanny, that's N-A-N-N-Y, like the woman that took care of you when you was a baby, if you were a rich baby. Anyway, but you hear of people, they will be doing something and the Spider will read an error code and it goes into nanny mode, and then they have to, or limp mode they call it, and it limps home and it takes you forever. I think you can't go over 20 miles an hour or whatever it is. I haven't experienced that, but those things do happen. And when you have a more complicated machine, that potential for error is there. We were on our trip to California, this was a couple of years ago, and we were in a, dead squirrel, don't want to run over and get all squishy all over me. But we were on a portion of I-8 out far west, and they were resurfacing portions of the road. It's quite desolate where we were, and man, there are dead squirrels everywhere. Them guys are out and moving, huh? But you know how you have two lanes going in one direction? The left-hand front wheel had to be off of the pavement, and I say off of the pavement, off of the main top. There was a big drop off, maybe 2-inch, 3-inch drop, and then you had the little warning berm mark, that you get when you're driving, and it was bouncing that front tire over there, and the Spider sitting sideways, and the back tire was, as we were approaching this truck that was spraying the tar and stuff, I was also pulling the trailer, so it was kind of bouncing around too. And all of a sudden, the Can-Am went clack, clack, clack. I mean, it was loud, y'all. It was loud. It was like ABS. You've heard that ABS noise, and I'm thinking, man, that ain't good. I accelerated again, and the vibration on this side of the Spider picked up. The trailer started bouncing, clack, clack, clack. slowed me down again. When I pulled a little further to the right and got the back tire at a more stable position and the trailer stabilized out a little bit, it never happened again. At the moment, I wasn't quite sure what happened. It was so noisy, I'm thinking I have destroyed the Spyder somehow. But what it was is it was protecting me. It was reading different level, different tires were rotating at different speeds, and it sent it into this ABS lockup mode to protect me from myself, to keep me from flipping the motorcycle. And it didn't lock it up. It didn't, slam on brakes like you're stopping, but it certainly slowed me down. Now, could that have gone into that limp mode permanently, man? Boy, that would have been a bad thing, because we were probably 70 miles from our next exit. There was nothing. I mean, there was nothing out there. So those complex things are what make me not trust the Spyder to the extent that I should. I've also read about the little gear shift, or the gear, that shaft, when you put it into gear and you hear that what we call the Can-Am clunk, clank, and that shaft shearing off and breaking in half. Every time I put it in gear when I'm in some sort of desolate area, I worry that that's going to happen. I know the chances of it happening are very, very minimal, but it doesn't make it any less disconcerting for a person when you're out on the road. So you just have to understand that with complexity comes worries. I am one to worry more about the mechanical side of things than most, I think. We are exposed, we're out in the open, and so I do my walk-arounds. I'll do check for leaks, I check for problems. So if you're asking me how do I feel about the Spyder, I feel my senses always are getting mixed signals from the Spyder, that it's talking to me in this sort of nervous system way. It makes me anxious a little bit. But if you're asking me how the Spyder has performed, flawlessly. It is cranked every single time except when the battery died, which is true with any vehicle. It's cranked every single time, no matter how cold, no matter how hot, no matter how exhausted I was, it always cranked up and did the job. So the Can-Am Spyder for me has been absolutely 5-star, flawless, seamless system. It's worked great, and I don't think that you can go wrong. And if you're asking me, if Consumer Reports ask me, would you buy this brand again, I would say without hesitation I would buy another Can-Am Spyder. Also, I am a YouTuber, as you might have known. And the people that ride Spyders, because I talk to a lot of people that ride Spyders, the people that are happy and the people who are PO'd, man, the ones who are going, man, I got my Spyder and it's a lemon, And I hear it all at every story in between. And because I'm not beholden to anyone, I ride a Spyder because I want to. I'm not being paid to ride a Spyder, I can tell you that. I'm not getting a free shirt. I get nothing. I ride because I like this thing. That's why. Coach Vic and I, we tour because we love it. It gives her and myself a comfortable way of riding around and doing things in a safe way for us. So I love the Spyder. I love the format. I love everything about it. So when I have someone that tells me something's wrong, I'm not going, well, it's just because you did this wrong. No, it's not. No. There are those, the people at BRP, they all walk on water. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Because in another article that I read, the greatest dissatisfaction was, well, there were multiples, but there were like 5. The dissatisfaction was how BRP treated them. That was one thing. The other thing was warranty. People were very anxious. Something that shouldn't break might have been just outside of warranty, or you should buy the extended warranty. I don't have an extended warranty. My Spyder's paid for, and I ride it. And if it breaks, I got to fix it. So I don't have the extended warranty. But people are always worried about the warranty coverage. Are they going to cover it? And then there's the issue with the dealer network. The dealer network is another massive problem with BRP, Because you have Can-Am off-road, you have Can-Am on-road, you have Evinrude, you have all of these different things that are all owned by BRP. And because you have all of these different things, then sometimes you may go to a BRP dealer thinking you're going to be able to get help, and they can't help you because they don't even work on the on-road stuff. So you need to have a dealer near you. That's another thing. If you're going to buy a Spider, you need to have a dealer near you that you can trust, that they can do the work for you. Another thing that is of concern right now, and I don't think this is just true with Can-Am or anyone else, is the acquisition of parts. You know, this gear or the switch cluster on the left-hand side. I have a subscriber who's been waiting like 6 months to get one of those things. I think he ended up fixing it. I think he ended up going in and saying, "Hey, man, I'll just try to resolder a couple of things myself and see if it works." And I think that he actually got it fixed himself. But he wants the new cluster when they can get it, because he feels like it's a patch job. And I haven't just heard of one person having a problem with your switch gear on the left handlebar. I've heard several people having issues with that. Now, I'm in touch with thousands, literally thousands of BRP customers though, and they come to me and for advice, and I'll throw those questions out to you, and then you'll answer them. So when you do buy one, you need to have a dealer in the area that you can trust. You really do need to have one that you can count on. And the other thing, I think, in order to have longevity on this thing, you need to treat this thing like an exotic sports car or an exotic motorcycle. You need to really watch for any little thing that could possibly go wrong, because when you find things early, then you can stop a problem before it's a problem. And that is what I do. I don't turn a blind eye to anything. If I see something that needs addressing, I address it right then. Another thing you need to do if you have a Spider, you need to take it to that dealer at least once a year and have them run the BUDS program on it. For those who aren't familiar with BUDS, I don't know exactly what it stands for, but that's the computer software program that updates on the Spider. So you need to make sure you get your BUDS updates once a year, and then they can also read codes. Which, speaking of codes, that was another thing. There was a huge customer dissatisfaction over the amount of codes that were slung, where the driver didn't even know that a code was there, and then they would get to the dealer and they would say, you know, you had 15 codes where this happened or that happened, and none of them obviously were catastrophic. But as a user, I'd kind of like to know what's going on, or if the code was relevant or even real. So I don't know. I haven't experienced that, so I just, you know, I can't speak from. But that was part of the article that I'd read. So if you're asking me, do I suggest you buy anything? Well, I can tell you that from my experience, if you are interested in a Can-Am Spyder, you can't go wrong getting one. And as far as dependability, mine's been 5-star. I would like for those who are satisfied and for those who are unsatisfied, share below your experiences, because it is important as people go out and spend money, certainly in the environment that we're in now, that their money be spent wisely, because let's face it, the dollar's worth less, and I'm not saying worthless, it's worth less, and products are costing more. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And then also the availability of these machines. If you're buying used, you need to make sure that it's been maintained properly. And if you can find the dealer that they've been working with, then they'll have all the records there too. They'll show all the oil changes and all that stuff. All right, well, I hope you found this little chat helpful on the Spyder and how I feel about it and its dependability. I believe that the Spyder's right up there. Well, I don't believe it is. I know it is. It's up there with the top 5 or 6, and that's a big deal. When look, there's a reason why Victory was #1. They were darn dependable, and Harley is certainly dependable. People can say what they want about them, good, bad, or indifferent, but the Harley, I can tell you this, if you put the key in it it's going to crank, and if it doesn't crank, you could probably fix it with a screwdriver and a rubber mallet. There's just not a lot of fail points. Now, I would assume that, you know, as complicated as things are getting, all of them are going to be like that eventually. But there's never been a better time to own a motorcycle, whether it's a Can-Am or otherwise. Motorcycles have gotten so advanced and so cool. So, there you have it. If you want one, get one and rest easy. And when you get those weird little spidey senses, just remember you're normal. You're normal. You're not doing anything wrong, and that doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's just, it's a complicated machine. It's a complicated machine. All right. Well, there you have it. Until next time, do me a favor, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are doing it wrong. Yes, you are. Now, you go seize the day, and old Coach Bob will see you on the road real soon.